Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and this story's been doing the round for the weekend, and I just wanted to see if more information would come out about it, because everybody's jumped onto it, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is going to be fantastic, because the report is, as you probably know, Tom Cruise filmed a lightsaber fight for Star Wars The Starfighter movie, and people are going insane thinking Tom Cruise is in this movie, that he used a lightsaber and he did all of this stuff and he filmed an action scene. Wrong. That is not the way this went down. But we're going to have a look at the article that talks about this. Now, yes, he was there and he did film a lightsaber fight. But that's the key word there. Filmed. We're also kind of hearing what that scene involved. But then the question is, who does it involve? So we're going to have a look at one of the articles, because there's a lot of articles about it, but let's dive into it. So, by the way, apparently Steven Spielberg even was invited to the set and showed up, so, you know, nobody's jumping for joy going like, oh my god, Steven Spielberg was there, but let's have a look. So it says, Tom Cruise was recently involved with Star Wars Starfighter and confirmed some strong suspicions in the process. When the Star Wars Starfighter was first announced, one of the biggest questions surrounding the film was, how deeply would it lean into traditional Star Wars iconography? For months, Lucasfilm and director Shawn Levy positioned the project as something of a tonal departure, new characters, new conflicts, and a setting 5 years removed from Rise of Skywalker. Now, thanks to an unexpected cameo behind the camera from Tom Cruise, that positioning may already be unraveling. So, you see, behind the camera. According to a profile published by the New York Times and highlighted by Gizmodo, Cruise didn't just stop by the Starfighter set as a visitor, he actively helped shoot a scene, specifically a lightsaber duel set in the water. That single detail dramatically changes what audiences should expect from this movie, because once lightsabers enter the picture, everything else follows. Now, before we go on with this article, because this article now kind of goes into the speculation about everything they said this movie wouldn't be, that they are now pretty much confirming that it will be, you know, because some of the other articles are saying, like, confirmed, Starfighter introduces Jedis and lightsabers. The Tom Cruise part, because that's the main thing everyone's focusing on at the moment. He didn't shoot a scene as in he showed up, put on some Jedi robes or whatever, grabbed out a lightsaber and fought somebody. He directed the scene, basically. He shot it. He was the one behind the camera giving the direction for the scene. That's what happened. So he directed basically the scene of them fighting in the water. That's what Tom Cruise did. It's not that he filmed an actual scene where he is in the scene. He was behind the camera and worked on it. And apparently he was very focused on it and, you know, very strict as well, apparently. So God knows what that scene will be. But once the scene shows up, you'll know exactly which one it is that Cruise did. Even Shawn Levy is saying, like, oh, once you see the movie, it'll be easy to tell which one was Tom Cruise. Well, we know which one was Tom Cruise. It's a lightsaber duel set in water. But now it's saying, because they said this movie would be so far removed from all things Star Wars and be all new characters and all new settings and all this type of stuff, that people are like, okay, so obviously there would be no Jedis or Siths or lightsabers showing up. But of course, they've shoveled lightsabers in here, so it's saying, up until now, Starfighter has been discussed as a relatively grounded entry in the franchise. Speeders, ships, water sequences, sure, but lightsabers? That's a different tier of storytelling altogether. A lightsaber duel doesn't just employ force sensitivity, it employs multiple trained force users, narrative stakes tied to the Jedi and Sith legacies, and an ideological conflict that Star Wars has always centered on, even when it tries to pretend otherwise. This immediately raises the question Lucasfilm has avoided answering. Who is wielding them? So one rumour that has circulated quietly for some time is that Amy Adams may be playing Mara Jade, a fan favourite character from the old expanded universe. In the original EU, Mara Jade begins as a dark side assassin connected to Palpatine before ultimately turning to the light and marrying Luke Skywalker. Lucasfilm officially erased Mara Jade from canon years ago, but the studio has shown a growing willingness to selectively revive EU concepts when convenient. A lightsaber duel in Starfighter suddenly makes that rumour feel less far-fetched than it did even a week ago. And that is one of the things. They were like, got rid of the EU, and all they've done since is plunder the EU. Half the stories they've been telling are the EU stories, so it's like, wow. So if Starfighter is set 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker, the timeline would allow for surviving Force users, dark side remnants, or even legacy characters operating in the shadows. A character like Mara Jade would neatly fit that narrative space, especially if Lucasfilm is trying to rebuild mythic weight after the sequel trilogy's divisive ending. To be clear, there is no confirmation that Adams is Mara Jade, but lightsabers reopen narrative doors Lucasfilm previously insisted were closed. And of course, it ends off by saying, is Rey the more likely answer? So there's also the stunning and brave elephant in the room, Rey. Disney has already announced plans to continue Rey's story in a future film, and Starfighter takes place squarely within that era. If lightsabers are appearing in this movie, Rey's absence would be increasingly difficult to explain. Because, again, one of the rumours as well doing the round is that this thing ends with Rey, him bringing, Ryan Gosling bringing the kid to Rey to be trained as a Jedi. So whether that's still meant to be in this or not, we don't know. But yeah, that is the question then, is, well, who is wielding the lightsabers? How many lightsabers is there down the road? Like, because we're finding out about the lightsaber and the lightsaber duel from one scene so far, and that's the scene that Tom Cruise directed. So that leads to the question of, well, is it only one scene with lightsabers? Or is there multiple scenes with lightsabers? Is it Jedi? Is it Sith? Is it something different? Is it Inquisitors? We don't quite know yet. But when you're being told there's lightsabers in here, when you're originally told we were kind of steering away in a different direction with this stuff, then it raises those questions. And we keep getting this stuff now where we're being told, oh, this thing won't include lightsabers, and then they shove lightsabers in there. Like Solo, a Star Wars story. It should have had nothing to do with lightsabers, and then Darth Maul shows up in a hologram, and then, for reasons best known to themselves, they had him ignite a lightsaber as a hologram. It was like, why are we supposed to be scared about this? It's like, you literally just had him ignite a lightsaber because you wanted a lightsaber in the movie. So, who's wielding it? We don't know. There's not even an indication that the two fighters, one may being a woman, one not, both being women, maybe not. We don't know. All we know is Tom Cruise filmed that scene. He was behind the camera, and he is the one who filmed that scene. So we'll have to wait and see when this movie comes out exactly what is going on with this movie. But there you go, guys. Tom Cruise directed, well, shot anyway, a lightsaber duel in water. So, yay. Let's get excited, I guess. Not really. What do you guys think? Do let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.